Hey, Sean Hathaway here. Have a great weekend coming up. Happy Friday to everybody. UFC fights on Saturday, lots of playoff football Sunday. Monday's a holiday for a bunch of people, and then Tuesday we've got the Netflix earnings call, which is a really big deal if you've been following this whole streaming wars. This hashtag streaming wars is kind of a new concept. Yesterday, NBC just announced Peacock. I'm guessing a lot of people in the United States have never even heard of Peacock, and I'm guessing like 0 people outside of the United States have ever heard of Peacock. But that's generally how I would summarize the streaming wars. So we have all of this discussion of the Apples and the Disneys and the Amazons and the HBO Max and the Hulus and blah, 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 blah. But nobody watches this stuff outside the United States. Now, there is competition outside the United States, but Netflix is really the big boy on the block and really has global infrastructure and global streaming. So I think the whole competition against Netflix is a little bit overblown, but this quarter is going to be a little bit of the proof is in the pudding. So Netflix guided to 7.6 million subs growth in Q4. Now keep in mind, last Q4, so a year ago, they had 8.8 or 8 something. So they've actually said below. So I think that they're actually under guiding. I think they're going to surpass that number. Their stock price has been hindered largely due to a Q2 miss on domestic subs, like the first ever decrease in domestic subs for the company. But that was in the face of price increases globally. And so I think that gets a little discounted in the news. But nevertheless, missed their growth forecast in Q2. And then we've got this whole environment of streaming wars. So this is actually a really important earnings call for them. So people will say, well, is Netflix done growing? Is their growth going to slow? Here's how I think about it broadly. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but this is how I think about it. First off, you can think in terms of global broadband households. Big round numbers, maybe there's 1 billion. And if Netflix has 160 million, that means they've got a 16% penetration globally. Okay, definitely room for growth there. But what if I was to say it's actually bigger than broadband households? What if I looked at like Facebook daily subs? Because definitely a goal could be that everybody on Facebook uses Netflix. Again, kind of random, but that's 2.5 billion daily users of Facebook. So that would tell me then that Netflix has a 6% penetration. Now what if I look at the market and say, forget about broadband households. I want every single person that's got a cell phone in their hand. Well, I just read that there's like 9 billion cell phones in the world. There's only 7.5 billion people. So let's just go down and say, okay, well, on average, every person's got a cell phone. So if you look at the global population of 7.5 billion and say that's your goal, well, now you'd say Netflix only has about a 2% penetration. So long and short of it is, I think there is a ton of room for growth here. I think they're going to figure it out. They're going to continue to grow. Everyone else is going into streaming. Not a big deal. By the way, if you don't go into streaming, you go out of business. So expect more people to go into streaming. And I think Netflix goes to $500 in the next 12 months. That's my call. Have a good one.